Hey, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'll talk a little bit about Bellarmine. I mean, they one of the best Division II programs in the country every year. How are they? What will they do differently, or what kind of a different challenge will they offer you than Carleton did?
Playing Bellarmine is always a great challenge. Well, I like to play Bellarmine because even if we play well, last year we made shots, so it's hard on them if we make shots because they don't have the size. So they have to pack it in on us, which you're going to see a lot in 6 of our first 7 games. You're going to see a lot of that. So it's a good game for us because we could see a lot of teams trying to pack it in on us. And then on the other end, because they're so well coached, I mean, they lead the country, they're top 5 every year. Last 5 years, I think, in assists. They're a great passing team. So, they put a lot of pressure on your defense because they're going to always find the open man. So it's a good practice game for us to try to make sure we're defending the three-point line. Again, you see that a lot early in the year, teams that maybe not as big as you or as athletic but can shoot.
So they're going to pack it in and dare you to shoot. On the other hand, they want to. That's what they can do, is shoot.
Right. And then now, obviously in their league, they're probably a little more aggressive defensively, but it's not going to. Wouldn't behoove them to come in here and start chasing us around. But we're going to see that again a lot early in the season. So they're a team that can change defenses on you, play some zone. Vance Hall's their best player. We saw he played at Wright State a couple of years ago. He played for Wright State when we played him at the Nutter Center.
First game after the fight.
So he's a good player. They may be a little young. I don't really know their personnel that well, but the names change. But Scotty's still a coach, and he's going to make sure those guys are making the extra pass. So we're going to have to do everything we can to not let them run their offense, which is what we try to do to everybody anyway.
After getting to look back at Saturday, are you pretty pleased with where this team was for one exhibition game?
Yeah, I thought if we wouldn't have come out ready to play, we would have lost. I mean, when you're talking about a team that had their walk-ons in the game, Carleton, against Wisconsin, at the end, they were up so much. You're talking about a team that beat TCU by 28. TCU's in the Big 12. So the fact that we were able to control most of the game and win the game, despite missing 10 layups, which SK missed 5 of those. I thought our defense was pretty good, and we did all of it really without Jermaine Lawrence being any factor at all for us, which he's going to be, and he's going to have to be for us to reach our potential.
How did he react to that, not getting to play that much because of the foul window? Was he discouraged or disappointed?
Well, first he was discouraged. I said, "But my big fella, you're the one fouling, not me." I think it was his mother's birthday. His whole family was here again. He was so excited to play, and he has practiced so well. He was probably too anxious. So it's the first lesson he learned.
Yeah.
You got to approach every game and every practice the same way. I think he got too anxious, and But again, I would rather have that than a guy that's not into it. He wants to do well so bad. He's excited. So he's going to have to learn to control that.
So you think he'll be a little more calmer?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Did it comfort him any? Justin came up after the game when they were standing there and told him, I fouled out in the first half of my first game. So
yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that, but that doesn't surprise me.
So obviously we didn't get to see anything near Jermaine Lawrence.
Well, no, I mean the stat sheet said he played 10 minutes, but when you check in and played 10 seconds, they got to give you a minute. So he played about 6 minutes and had 5 fouls. So. Well, he's going to have to be a factor for us, and he will be. It's just, it's a matter of him just getting time, getting comfortable out there. He's got to learn that you got to let the game come to you a little bit, and you got to have discipline. They're not kidding around with the new rules.
When you say he'll be a factor, what kind of a factor will he be?
In a lot of ways, he can score and he can pass. He's a good offensive player. He's just got to find a rhythm. Young guys just get excited, when they get the ball. I'm working with him more in practice on being more of a factor defensively and rebounding. You know, that's for all freshmen. Other than Deshaun Mormon and Kevin Johnson came in as really aggressive defenders. Come from, whether it's their DNA, their high school coach. You know, I know in Kevin's instance, it's a winning program. Won the state championship, and you know Mike Bradley does a great job at Summit. So, but it's also his DNA. He's an aggressive guy. Deshaun Mormon, same thing. I think you know with Jermaine Lawrence and Troy, getting them to be a factor on a defensive end, which is par for the course. That's what that's our job. So, trying to get him to be a factor around the rim, not necessarily blocking every shot, but contesting shots, giving us rim presence, you know, changing shots, never giving up on plays, things that Justin does. So after Kenyon talked with the team Monday, and then we practiced Tuesday, I showed Jermaine a highlight edit of Kenyon, and just his effort, just his relentless effort. So I always tell the guys, you know, everybody is who they are for a reason, and let me show you why he is who he is. And so we showed him a 5-minute edit just of Kenyon's intensity level. Some of it was just his intensity after a play. You know, it's just, you know, obviously, you know, I showed him a edit of Kenyon as a senior, maybe a couple clips as a junior when I saw those.
You didn't show him as a freshman?
Nah. He'd have been sitting on the bench watching Danny Fortson play.
How did he react when you showed him that?
Oh, you know, Jermaine is a great learner, and he's really into getting better, and he believes he's got to improve. So, and he loves basketball, and he wants to get there. So, anytime you coach him on anything, he's into it. Like he was impressed. You know, when I let him talk to him, he was probably looking at him. He was like, wow, because it's an impressive edit.
I was impressed by Kenyon. Okay.
Yeah, he was. I mean, his jaw was a little bit open on just Kenyon's intensity.
You liked what Shaquille Thomas did last week.
Yeah, you know, Shaq's a guy. Coaching Shaq is different than coaching some other guys because he's kind of a guy you just got to get him out there, and he's better in a game than he is in a fundamental breakdown session. Just because it is who he is. He's a reactionary, gifted athlete where you got to continue to work with him fundamentally, but you got, as a coach, my job is to realize what he's good at. And for lack of a better comparison, he would be our version of Herb Jones. You know, you kind of got to get Shaq, keep it simple, and let him be on the attack. You know, let him get that ball to the paint, to the rim, shoot it. He's got a great pull-up game, and give him space to create. On defense, you know, he's got great length, and now he's rebounding. That's my big challenge now. If you were to ask me what's my focus with him, it's making sure he shoots all shots off 2 feet with 2 hands, and then go to the glass. Make it go to the glass at all costs.
Do you consider him the most physically gifted player on your team?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those are terms that I don't really worry about. I'm more worried about production.
Yeah. But whether you worry about him or not, you still might.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, if you start talking about, you know, you talking about basketball skills or athletic skills.
What about athletic skills?
I would say Shaq, Titus, and Justin, from our best, and then Deshaun and Kevin. Like if you were to say, you know, your best 5 athletes, and I put SK in that group. You know, if you see us really needing to come after a team in a pressing situation, and in G.
Do you know if he has a relationship with his uncle?
Oh yeah,
Does he talk to him a lot?
Yeah. Now Tim's got young kids, and he's living in LA now. He's retired. I coached him. That's how we got Shaq. I coached him at the ABCD camp in Fairleigh Dickinson. I coached him in the All-Star game with my team. I had Kobe in my office at home. I got a picture of my team. It was Kobe, Tim, and Rip Hamilton.
Do they have similar skills?
Tim was almost 6'10", and he was a shooter. And he was a grown man as a young kid. When Tim went into that camp, that summer, he was the #1 player, not Kobe Bryant.
I just wonder if Shaq talked to him very much. or if he's
No,
helped him
absolutely.
much.
Tim helped. Tim's mother, Tim and Shaq basically have the same mother. Shaq's grandmother, which is Tim's mother, you know, DT, Dorothy Thomas. So, you know, DT's mom to both of them, because Shaq's mother passed away when he was
So he was
young,
raised by his grandmother?
Yes.
Which is Tim's mother?
which was supported by Tim. So, I mean, they're, you know, Tim would be like older brother. He's just in Los Angeles. You know, he's married and he's got his own family, own kids, but absolutely.
How did Troy grade out?
I thought Troy's getting better every day. Every day. You know, I thought last week, the last 2 practices before the game, I thought he was, you know, he had really improved. With Troy, it's just a matter of intensity level on every play. It's not a matter of his talent. It's playing at the game at a different speed. He had 0 people at his high school. Playing open gym was a waste of time for him. His coach would apologize to me at his high school. He said, you know, we'd go to watch him and said, you know, he had 5 guys that had 0 chance to ever play anywhere. In Troy, he was going to play at the highest level. So he never got challenged in practice in his high school career. So it's just an adjustment for him. You know, out here he's getting challenged every play, every dribble, every pass. So it's big, you know, big adjustment for Troy. But he's, like I said, he's coming. He's coming.
Is it kind of a blessing and a curse for him because he is kind of laid back? He doesn't let things get to him, which can help him on the court.
Well, I would say, you know, he's got leadership skills, and you're going to see him. He's highly intelligent. It's just a matter, and he's a highly intelligent student, person, basketball player. It's just a matter of the pace of everything and his intensity level and playing everything at a faster pace. But even with that, he doesn't get sped up with the ball. Like you can see when he's got the ball, he's calm with the basketball. And that's something you just can't teach. You know, where you gotta have, he's a guy that he can look off the defense like a good quarterback. You know, he understands you gotta freeze the safety in the middle of the field before you go to the sideline, and that's how he is with his passes. You know, that's just a gift that he has. You can't teach that. Much as you try as a coach, you can't teach it.
Yes.
Thanks, Coach.